Welcome back to Aspergers from the Inside. In this month's Patron's Choice video, we're talking about high-functioning autism, and I'm going to be sharing 4 things that show that high-functioning autism is not what people commonly think it is. Firstly, the term high-functioning autism was originally used as a diagnosis label to refer to a person with an IQ of above 70, which means that everybody with average to above average IQ who is not diagnosed with an intellectual disability as well as autism is termed high-functioning autism. And the reason that they did that is because somebody assumed that if you have average to above average IQ, you would be able to function, you would cope well in society, you would be able to do well. And what we found is that that is just not correlated in the way that they originally thought it was. In fact, there was a research paper put out earlier this year from the University of Western Australia called The Misnomer of High-Functioning Autism, basically calling for that term to be consigned to history. So, number one, the term high-functioning autism has nothing to do with functioning. It was originally coined to refer to someone with average to above average IQ. Okay, so number 2 is that a person's level of functioning is dependent on the situation. So I cannot have a label as I am either high functioning or low functioning. I have high functioning days and low functioning days, for example. And a lot of my friends use this terminology. It's quite easy to imagine what a low functioning day looks like. It's the kind of day where you can't get out of bed, you can't think straight. The things that you would normally be able to do, you can't do on that particular day. And this is relatively easy for the neurotypical population to understand as well. I bet you've had some low functioning days. Have you ever been sick in bed with the flu or something, right? How functioning were you on those days? Did you go to work? Did you perform any complex theoretical, intellectual, cognitive tasks? All of those things were really difficult because you were sick in bed with the flu. And a lot of people feel this every morning before they've had a coffee, right? You get up in the morning and things just aren't working quite right yet, right? I have friends that tell me, you're talking too quickly, I can't process this, I haven't had my coffee yet. Can you just leave me alone until I've had time to wake up and have my coffee? So this is what it means to be low functioning, because I can't do the things that I could normally do in that particular time. And that could be due to burnout, it could be due to stress, it could be a relatively permanent thing of there is a particular task or a particular thing that I am just not capable of doing very well for a variety of different reasons, right? All of these are completely personal things, but the point of number 2 is a person cannot be high functioning or low functioning. A person can either be good at performing a particular task at a particular time, or there might be barriers, which means that at this particular time, whatever I'm trying to do is very difficult. Okay, so number 3, what does high functioning literally mean? What it literally means is I am functioning well at the moment and my struggles are invisible. So high functioning literally means invisible struggle. What it does not mean is reduced level of difficulty, reduced level of challenges, right? People talk about mild autism. And when you think about it in those terms, it sounds as though high functioning means your challenges are less. Now that's sometimes true, but what it really means is whatever struggles I'm going through, you can't see them, right? It's like a duck paddling underwater, putting in a huge amount of effort behind the scenes to appear to be doing really well. And we often do really well. The key here is the amount of effort that it takes to do really, really well. And because of that increased amount of effort, we are often at our limit all the time. Now, this bit is seeable from the outside. Maybe you know someone on the spectrum or a child on the spectrum, and they seem to be able to go off the edge really quickly, and sometimes a really small thing can set them off and they get really upset, or they're going really well and they suddenly crash and suddenly can't do anything anymore. Why do you think that is? It's because all of this time, we've been pushing ourselves to our absolute limit behind the scenes where you can't see it, and then a little bit extra is the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? So high functioning autism means working really, really, really hard behind the scenes. Maybe that's due to social anxiety, maybe that's due to cognitive challenges that I'm trying to overcome in the background. Another example here is, think about what it means to have high functioning depression or high functioning anxiety. It doesn't mean mild anxiety or mild depression. What it means is clinical depression, clinical anxiety in a person who is managing for the moment to keep their life together and things haven't completely fallen apart yet. Now, the longer you leave high functioning depression and high functioning anxiety, the greater the chance that absolutely everything's going to come tumbling down. But at the moment, I'm high functioning because despite all of these challenges that are invisible and you can't see in the background, I am successfully living my life and getting all the things done that I need to, maintain relationships, keep a job, all of those things. So from the outside, it looks like I'm doing really well, whereas I'm actually at the very brink of completely falling apart all the time. And that makes it difficult to get help because it doesn't look like I need help. It looks like I'm doing really, really, really well until I fall off the edge and crash and melt down, and all of a sudden I don't have relationships and I don't have a job and I don't have any of these other things. And it's a surprise to people around me because, oh, but I thought you were doing really well. What happened? Actually, nothing happened. The stress was always there. It was just invisible to someone on the outside because I was so high functioning. Okay, so number 4, if I had to give a stereotype of the kind of person who has high functioning autism, it is not someone like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, not by a long shot. The stereotype of the people that come to mind when I think of high functioning autism, right? And this is a stereotype. Obviously, there's lots of different types, but this is the one that comes to mind for me. It's a 55-year-old man who has been chronically unemployed for the last 20 years. He's really intelligent, he's grumpy, he's cynical, he did really well in high school and university and got a great job and everything was going fine until his sort of mid-20s or 30s when he had his first major relationship breakdown. That went away. All of a sudden I don't have a job, all of a sudden I'm not coping at work and I don't have a relationship, all of a sudden I'm not coping at work and I lose my job. And now you've got sort of a middle-aged person who doesn't have the social skills to make new friends because they don't have the same interests as everyone else. They don't have the relationship skills to start dating again and find someone else because they haven't had to for the last 20 years. They don't have a job and they don't interview well because they're really abrupt and they were relying on the fact that people already knew them. And you can imagine what this kind of external input does to someone, right? In terms of cynicism and anxiety and other kind of mental health things. When you meet this person, they will come across as grumpy and rude and arrogant. And in the back of your mind, you're probably likely to think something like, oh, well, it's no wonder you don't have a job if you treat people like that and you speak to people like that. That is high functioning autism. That is someone who's really intelligent and was functioning really well for a while until they fell off the rails. And now, what are we doing to help those kind of people, right? They need help just as much as the children who are struggling in school, or those who have an intellectual disability or something that is more obvious that we don't mistake for a completely competent person that's just rude and arrogant and cynical. So that is an example of what high functioning autism actually looks like in real life. And I bet that is probably a surprise to most people who have this fanciful image of successful Sheldon Cooper-like characters who might be a little bit quirky but are still getting along fine in the world and have nothing really to worry about. Okay, well, they were my 4 things. If I had to give a summary takeaway message, it would be that high functioning autism means invisible struggle. And the biggest challenge is that other people don't understand. Because how can you understand what you don't see? It means that we have to look past a person's ability to appear to be okay and see that internal struggle. So I don't want your pity, I don't want your sympathy. All I want is empathy and compassion and to be treated kindly, and for my very real struggles and challenges that cost me a lot of energy behind the scenes, just they are real and they are valid, and when people understand that, the whole world is a much more friendly and relaxing place. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you would like to have your say in next month's Patron's Choice video, you can join our Patreon family and become a supporter of this channel for less than $1 a month. So please consider that if you would like to support this content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you another time. Bye.